Okay, so coming out of the closed session, we have agreed on the 3% increase.
Sir?
No, we discussed it.
Discuss the
Yeah.
3% increase.
Which will be followed up later on in the agenda.
Yes, thank you. For yourself, and then also for Kevin Hayes. And a separate discussion on the other worker is that we will do some sort of gift card, but she will definitely be taken care of when it gets to the year end. But I want you to know, there's a lot of absolute wonderful comments made here about her work. So we definitely understand that she needs to be rewarded, and she will when we get to that point. Okay. So then, we just come back to the normal agenda, I guess, consent agenda. There's the minutes of March 14th, financial report of February ending 2024, and a financial report for March ending.
Make a motion to approve the minutes and the reporting financials.
Moved by Joel for
And that's both financials.
both financials, and Larry seconds it.
A quick comment on the financials. On February, there were a couple errors that she corrected. So we had received those last board meeting, right at the last minute, and there were some errors in there, so we need to correct them for this one, so these are good.
They're good to go. Okay. So then can we get a motion on the consent agenda?
We've got a motion and a second.
Okay. Larry second.
Amend the second.
Very good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now down to the presentation and updates, and update from myself, President. I thank everybody for the conversation around closed session about our employees. I think we're extremely pleased with everybody at this point in time. There's a lot of good things, as we talked about in closed session, that are happening in the downtown area. So let's just keep both hands on the wheels and let's go. Never know what's going to get thrown at us. But everything is, as far as in the downtown area, I gotta say, wherever I go to, whether it's to a party or it's just walking down the street, people are stopping and just saying, it's absolutely beautiful in downtown. So what's next? Okay. Great. Treasurer's report?
Treasurer's report, I really don't have anything to add. The financials are here. Really nothing out of the ordinary.
Any questions as far as on the financials? Okay. I'll just take this all as one when we get to updates here. Mr. Hammer?
Excuse me. Not a whole lot going on, doing the status quo. Today is a busy day. We are getting our banners replaced from, added to our banners for blue zones. Overall, things are good. Landscaping is doing their thing. Security is doing their thing. We're staying in the loop. We continue communicating with our security team and our maintenance team. And as things pop up, which is great about Kevin being mobile in his cart, he jumps on all the extraneous things, and Main Street is being taken care of by Yesenia. So everything is looking good, and we're keeping an eye on stuff. And other than that, and we'll discuss it later, spending a lot of time doing the annual report and knowing that you guys are all in the loop with all the stuff, and that's about all I have. It's steady as she goes.
How about homeless? Any change up or down? Or?
There was one gentleman who believe was an issue or cause of some of the events that were happening downtown. And he was, one afternoon, he was causing a nuisance, and 911 was called, dispatched, and he was picked up. And so that disappeared. He's still in jail as we speak. But overall, most of the problems are being addressed. There's the regular transients that we see every day that just move along as things happen. But we're keeping a lid on the majority of the issues. And we're continuing to clean up trash and debris and such.
How about the guy that urinated on the benches and stuff?
That's the guy.
That's the
Well, he's
gentleman.
gone.
Same guy.
That's the,
God, diggity damn.
How about there is an overweight, heavy guy that walks up and down the streets and just screams at the top of his lungs.
I see him occasionally.
Yeah, yesterday he did the whole Main Street.
He carries like 2 bags, grocery bags with him. usually?
Yeah, I don't know what he had, I didn't notice the bags, but he's really, really exceptionally loud. I mean, you can hear him 2 blocks away.
He usually doesn't linger.
Yeah.
Was that the guy whose image I sent you? from
I don't think
office?
so. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, he was on Main Street yesterday. and-
You-
But you're right, he
passes
he walked all the way through and then.
And shares his opinion.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty gross.
But overall, the majority of them are staying out of trouble, with the exception of 1 or 2 that the police and security has called on them fairly regularly. And the gentleman that was urinating in public and whatnot was picked up for urinating in public, indecent exposure, drinking in public, and then probably resisting arrest, and then failing to register.
Yeah.
So he's dealing with that right now.
And we got tagged on the back of First Awakenings last night,
Saw that.
big time.
Saw
Yeah. And I believe Tyler knows who it is.
Yes, Kevin is keeping an eye out for her, trying to track her down.
Good, good.
Yeah, I saw
That's
the
it.
artwork. Yeah,
Yeah.
A female tiger.
yes, she is. Yeah. So, we haven't seen her. She comes at night.
I'm gonna check my cameras, I think I'll have her.
Will the police make an arrest off your video?
They've asked to look at my videos at least on 3 or 4 different occasions, so yeah, they use them. I don't know whether they can make an arrest off them, but they can use them to fortify whatever other information they may have.
Greg, I
Yes,
assume, since recent events, has the whole juvenile bicycle situation calmed down downtown?
I have not seen them since that arrest, since he arrested the 3 kids up north, or in the north side of Salinas. I haven't seen them, so maybe they scurried for a bit. But they are, when they're down here, when they gather in groups of about 10 or more, they become a problem.
Yeah.
So,
I appreciate the police taking that so seriously.
yeah.
Yeah, they've done, the police have stopped them, I've seen them writing them up, so it has been good.
Yeah.
So on the camera side of things, there was 2 incidents that come to immediately to mind, in which case there were shots fired. And then there was another actual shooting. So the Salinas Police Department came to us to take a look at all of our, if we could look at all of our cameras. So we successfully got just about everybody on film
Nice.
for the city from that standpoint.
Yeah, that's
And
blessed.
this is after the city put up their nice new camera at the corner right out there by the Steinbeck Center. It's on our, well, still city property, but it's right across the way. And that camera did not work.
Did not capture or did not work?
Well, I'll rephrase it, they did not capture it. I'm ad-libbing and putting my words in, it did not work, so, from that standpoint. But, so that has made us extremely pleased that we know the camera system is working in downtown. we have. And it also was to the point of, there's, Jaime's has been having some issues, some pretty big issues. I think there was a death down there, wasn't it? Yeah.
It happened in the hospital, they passed in the hospital, but the
Yeah,
shooting.
there was a shooting at Jaime's.
And who?
Jaime's,
Rosita's Jaime's on Salinas Street.
Oh, yeah, it was on the news, yeah.
yeah. So, again, we own the Greyhound property, so we have lights that are then lighting up the parking lot. And so those came into play again that helped them. I don't know how big a message is being received at the police department as far as cameras do work, because there are no cameras working. There are no cameras working in the parking garage. No. So.
They look at it.
I need to head out to a chamber awards luncheon.
I'm not gonna be too far behind.
No, but Jay, you know, I mean, you guys can take the lead on our recommendation from the land use committee. It is, if you need to refer to it. Okay.
Remind me, I've also got 11 o'clock, so I'm gonna get out early too.
Sorry.
Okay. What's,
Thank you, Peter.
Sure, no, thanks.
Let's go to updates for the ad hoc committees.
We are progressing forward with getting our decals printed for the alleyway, so that's exciting.
Just got an
Just
email.
got an email, yeah, that they're finishing it up. So we just want to make sure everything's dry. I hear we're supposed to get some rain again this weekend. We'll see if that actually happens. So just want to ensure the concrete is really dry. We found those issues happen with the Blue Zones walk, that they made comments that the first time it started peeling up, it could have been that concrete wasn't very dry. So we just want to make sure that that is ready to be put down. So that's progressing, which is exciting. We got all the information back to the city regarding the mural there in the alley. So we should be progressing forward on that as well and starting in the next couple months, which is exciting to have the first paintbrush out and paint strokes made. We hit some roadblocks about the mural at 301 Main Street. One, it's historic, but the main issue is the Mills Act and how that will affect it and all the hoops that we're gonna have to jump. So I'm looking at moving on from that building and considering maybe painting the trash enclosure there, we'll see, something else. I'm open to suggestions, of course, anyone who has interest.
So, I'm sorry. You have information that would suggest that that mural would preempt the Mills Act?
So they have a contract, and we're making what is considered substantial modification to the building, and that could potentially cause issue with the Mills Act contract that the owner has.
No, I know that they have the Mills Act, but, so it would nullify it, potentially.
Potentially, yeah.
And this is back in the alley?
No, we were gonna paint the whole back, well, it isn't in the back of the alley, the whole back of
The
that
whole
building.
back wall.
It would have been amazing, but it just doesn't make a lot of sense. He's selling the building too. So there's the other hurdle, and we have this grant money that needs to be spent. We've had it for a while. We need to move forward on our project. So moving down the road further and not getting anywhere, I think isn't in the best interest of the grant funds we've received. So we need to pivot, and we're looking at different options for that. We have been talking with Anthony Lane at the Fox Theater, and we have some images for his building that he really likes. So now we're gonna go to the city and go through the historical review and get that going. I spoke with, I'm blanking on her name, Jessica today, and she's gonna send me the paperwork again, and then we'll have Anthony sign it, we'll mark the other box so that it'll go straight to historic review, get our application in for that project, which is really exciting. We also met with the city and talked about the banner program. We seem to have a plan to move forward with that. With the city's approval, they'll be handling it. We'll keep the encroachment permit as the master, and they will facilitate everything else from there. So we're working out the details with that, which was exciting to get some resolution. Trying to think of anything else.
So on that, you're suggesting we'll keep the master permit, but on the individuals that want to come in, that'll be coordinated to the city or our district coordinator? Could you
It'll be
clarify?
added to our permit, so we'll have the master permit, it'll be added to our permit, and the city will process all of that from there. And then each individual will be responsible for putting up their own banners,
Okay.
having them taken down, having ours reinstalled, working with the vendor that they want to, and we'll all have less of a role in that. They'll
So the city is gonna take that over?
they're not necessarily taking it over for any more than they already are, but,
You're being ambiguous.
yeah. We're fine, and I'm not doing it intentionally.
Well, then be specific, please.
Well, then ask me a specific question.
Is the city gonna run it or are we?
City-
Well, it's gonna be a joint, the city is gonna run it. It's the city's encroachment permit, they're giving it to us, they're running the program.
So
Yeah.
we're one of the permit holders in addition to other people, and what I hear Audrey saying is the city's gonna make sure that
Negative.
those banner holders are gonna take things up, put things down, and coordinate.
So anybody, we are the master permit holder for the banners. And then anybody who wants to put banners up will be added under us and will be coordinated around the other people putting them up. So we'll have some level of coordination with that
Through Greg or through the city?
through Greg and the city. It'll
Got
be
it,
joint.
okay, so it's a joint effort.
Yeah,
The designs will be added to our approved permit list, and then as a condition of approval from the city, they need sign off from the SCCIA to say, yes, you're clear to put up,
Cool.
right?
and there's no fee, but the city has the final say. We could say, just like we do when they ask us our recommendations, it doesn't necessarily mean anything, it's just our recommendation, but the city gets to do what they want. And then there's no fee charged, but they are responsible completely for the financial cost of putting their banners up, taking ours down, and putting ours back up, and taking theirs down, as the master. And then we aren't burdened with the additional cost of having to continuously take ours down and put back up, which is each away at the budget that wasn't intended for. So nothing is 100% final. Those are the talks that we've had, and we're putting, the city's putting together a document, and then we'll move forward from there.
So this moves, so we're gonna be paying the contractor directly
Yes.
for do the install and removal versus paying us, and that's your own paying.
Yep.
Okay, I like that.
That
Yep.
simplifies things.
So it does,
Yeah. Good job.
Thank you.
yeah,
Good job.
great. And yeah, we worked together for a while, so
That was a fun meeting.
it was teamwork, yeah.
Absolutely. Okay.
Other than that, that's all I have to report.
I'd like to just go back quickly to the 301 Main, and maybe everybody knows this, but one of the reasons that property is for sale is the city's disposition towards rent control. And it ain't gonna, it isn't something that may happen, it is apparently gonna happen. So folks with multiple family, whatnot, are gonna be bailing. And it's really a sad direction for the city to take, in my opinion. Anyway.
Okay. Joel, sidewalk operation, beautification.
So we had a healthy conversation earlier regarding maintenance activities, and the board's very pleased. Security, Greg, I don't know if you have any comments, I shot you an email, but when we had the two guards, there was a lot of visibility. I don't see them, and you know, because I'm out walking around quite a bit, it's usually people sleeping on the sidewalk and the doorway and so forth. What's your impression with the new structure of security? Because you're probably more in tune with Allied on that. I just, again, I don't see the visibility that you
So, excuse me, we cut 16 hours, we cut 2 days of labor off the current contract, right? So instead of having, well, the way it used to be was Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., right? And that was for both people, or 2 shifts, and we've eliminated one of those. But instead, now on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, there's a 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. Now, it used, in the past, it was Friday went down to 1 shift, and then another shift would happen on Saturday, and so that would walk through the farmer's market. You would say Adrian all the time, right?
Yeah.
So that body, or that shift, is no longer there until, and they start at 3 p.m. once you
Which is
wrap up.
fine for the evening crowd. yeah.
Right,
Okay.
so and we now have obviously less staffing at the beginning of the week, and Roger usually, usually starts in zone 2 and spends an hour, he cleans up around the granary and some of those problem areas, and then he walks down Main Street and then clears everybody out. Where in the past, Adrian was there early in the morning on Main Street right away. And so you're missing that level of visibility.
Okay, and then from your perspective, because I don't engage with merchants, are you getting any merchant feedback, or is everything?
I
It seems to be orderly, so.
I haven't heard a whole lot.
So it was a good change, I mean, or
So far.
it's not a negative change, you said it different way.
But what is happening is that because we're now on one guard as a part-time guard, there is a little bit more turnover. So I need to set up more of a direction of what I want them to do. Because I think in the past, Adrian just knew it.
Yeah.
Because they were here so long, and now there's that turnover. So we have to spend a little time on directing.
All right, so, and then if you've got any updates, if you shoot an email to Greg and myself. Otherwise, I think that pretty much covers sidewalk operations. And then, as the board probably gathered, with having you send on the 1, 2, 300 blocks, we're now able to service more of Zone 2 because Kevin's able to cast kind of a wider loop. And you're directing day-to-day activities in terms of checklist or expectations. So, again, the board's our feedback is we're very pleased with the program as it's structured.
Joel, why don't you just teach your dog to bite?
Australian Shepherd,
she's
she's
beautiful.
not coming after you. Greg, do you have anything else to add?
Just tree pruning, I know we're still trying to work on that. Did you ever figure out the lighting on that? We had a hiccup where they were all, and they came back and if we do this, we're going to end up cutting all the Christmas, the decorating lights.
So I reached out to Ryan. I've not heard back yet. Christmas Light Pros could probably do it as well. But either way, if either we take them down first and then do the trimming, or leave them in place and cut through some of them, we're going to have, the labor is going to be the most expensive thing, I think.
Let's say Tester Ryan,
Okay.
get a price from him on that, so
Yeah.
we'll move forward with that.
I've looked into, I think it will probably take about 50 feet per tree if we were to replace the strands. And per tree cost is probably $25 in Christmas tree lights. So,
Ryan.
Okay. Land use is just
walk
Just one down the-
Land use went that way.
Jay, what else? Oh, did he leave? No.
No,
He's
Yeah,
trying to
probably restroom.
Well, let's jump down to some of the action items on the Rotary Arch Maintenance Agreement.
I just got a text from Peter. That is not ready to do.
Okay.
There are some inconsistencies between the Rotary and the city agreement, so we're not ready to put that on.
Okay. So put this on next month's agenda. Okay. Now we're to the annual report.
Okay. Did everybody get a chance to look at it?
What do they got?
Yes.
Okay.
I had COVID for 3 weeks, so.
No way!
3 weeks.
Nice.
The older you get, the harder that's. I sort of flipped through it, but I haven't read it in detail. So I appreciate the effort you put into it. But
That's,
I haven't read it thoroughly.
I'm sorry?
that's due April 30th.
Correct. Yeah, so the meat and potatoes is in the report. It's, I think it's fairly final, with you guys wanting, some creative input, if you want to call it that. The past year, I've been taking a lot of statistics and measurements of like how we are doing as a district, and I believe that if we show our value to the city council based on the activities that we're doing, maybe they'll understand us a little bit better. And so highlighting what we do is kind of, I wanted to really display that. So in terms of what it looks like compared to last year, some stuff is boilerplate and remains the same. About the City Center Improvement Association, that's stayed the same as last year. That's just a copy from our website. Area map stayed the same. There's no district changes. The board probably need to update. Actually, this is current, but there are maybe some small changes that need to make there. And then I really went into why Salinas City Center? Why is it important? What are we doing? And this is where I need probably the most input from you on the kind of narrative that we want to create. I've done a lot of gathering of data, and these are accurate numbers as of a few months ago. Certainly for the 23 report. There's
Greg, when's the final due?
30th April. There's just shy of 4,000 registered businesses in Salinas, and I went through it, and almost 5% are actually downtown. Talked a little bit about land value, why Salinas City Center is the hub of commercial activity, some statistics based on that. I've been unable to get any information from City Hall regarding economic impact that we are having as a district. They are unable to provide those numbers, even on a district scale. Unwilling, unable, whatever. I have not received them, so whatever that is. I'm not looking to see how much money you paid in property taxes. I don't care. I want to know
sales tax revenues.
I want to see district-wide what kind of impact we're having, and I have been unable for the past year to get any data doing anything like that.
Kevin always used to talk about a public records request.
Done. Denied.
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 Say why?
Yes, it's confidential financial information.
That's bullshit.
Well, it's,
You get that? When I was redevelopment director, I could get the aggregated sales tax for restaurants as an individual group or downtown as a total.
and I didn't even want,
And I went to Jim Pia, the acting finance director, and I said, why can't I have that? So we don't want it for individuals, we want it for the cumulative.
Right.
I'm not gonna give it to
to
you.
deny requests.
I'm not gonna give it to
Why
you.
was denied?
I don't understand why that would be confidential. It doesn't
It
make sense.
isn't.
Yeah.
Why they denied?
And that's why the Public Records Act would be denied. I think that's something that could be challenged in court.
The answer that I'm receiving or getting is, for example, well, they have like 2 or 3 different sales tax systems that they went through in the last couple of years, so aggregating all that data is really weird. And there is no specific Salinas City Center overlay or subset of the data that they can pull out. And I said, well, how about,
Addresses.
they don't have that list, they don't have that, or they're not willing to make that list. And I've,
Probably not willing to invest the staff time, they got other
and
fish.
that's what it is.
That's what it is.
I have submitted I've done citywide, I've done it by zip code, I've given them a list of every single address in our district, and they deny them all. The same thing with business licenses. I do have all the business licenses, but they will not tell me what the business license fee was. Because with that fee, I can extrapolate the health, the revenue of the business. And so they won't do it as a, well, with the business licenses, you need a individual, because otherwise it doesn't add up. But so anything that has to do with an individual confidential financial number is denied. The same thing, I wanted to see how many bodies are working downtown from various businesses, and that was denied because they don't carry that data, which is interesting because on their business license application it says, how many employees do you have? So I said, wait, you're asking for the information, but you're not tracking the information. So basically, every request is turned into a black hole. And so I'm unable to see the economic health or economic progress of our district compared to the rest of the city or just as a whole, whether we're up or down for the year, which is fun. So, sorry, it just...
Hopefully, we get with a new city manager and some change on the council, we can get it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's make a note of this. Let's get this all down on paper. Because the new city manager, I believe, starts maybe
May something or
May
other,
something,
mid to late May.
somewhere. It's not July, it's not into June.
It's May.
Yeah.
You know, what's kind of interesting is the city is always throwing out numbers about the auto center and how much income it provides to the city. And the same goes for Out South District. I've heard a number of the councilmen talk about how much revenue is generated out of the Out South District.
Funny
How do they know that?
So, well, the city can collect this information
They have
themselves.
the data.
They have their own internal data. But for SUBA puts out their annual report, and SUBA actually says how much dues they're collecting from their merchants, and it can be no more than it can be no more than 75% of the business license that the city charges them. So you can actually reverse calculate that and see what the economic output is of SUBA, which is actually really impressive. They are a powerhouse.
Yeah.
economically.
Well, for this report, they don't have it, but I think, let's, just talk with the new city manager.
Yeah.
Is there a way
Yeah.
in the future to pursue this?
There should be a way to do this.
Steve, it's a matter of you putting it in writing to him.
The, sorry, to follow up on how the auto center is doing, et cetera, even though those newsletters that are generated by HDL for the city, because that's the provider they use for sales tax information, the city puts up a quarterly newsletter on sales taxes that was last updated in the winter of 2022. So, FYI.
Somebody's not running the show very well.
So, anyway, moving on beyond economic output and viability of the district, I talked about how many bodies or how many people are downtown as a whole, and how close everything is in proximity to everything. So I this was a brand new website, took a snapshot of how close and walkable we are based on restaurants, bars, coffee shops, library, bookstores, city services, et cetera, and the bluer the color, the closer it is, and as you can see, our district is smack dab in the middle of the blue zone, which is good. So it's very walkable, and it is the core of all the things together. And then it's actually really neat. But I also collect pedestrian data from and you guys have seen this before from past reports, but this is the entire year. We have approximately 400,000 people that cross the intersection every year. Obviously, I cannot identify whether they're unique or not, because, and I cross that intersection 4 or 5 times a day, so take that with a grain of salt. And I know Steve walks across downtown a bunch too, so we're skewing the numbers. Let's see, I've also been tracking all the events and things that are happening. I'm linking some of the big events that have happened. Not every event gives me their counted or attendance data with a neutral. No, I know, I'm just kidding.
I don't count heads.
But some, especially like the nonprofits, are giving me all this information, which is really cool to see. So Aerial Theater had 15,000 people attend their shows last year. You know, the mayor's, yeah, right? The mayor's, First Mayor's House, they have, you know, 100 people that attend their open houses every month. Same thing with the Railroad Association, the Friends of the Public Library, Sales, Visitor Center. They all give me attendance numbers that I can collate and put together. I have much more data for this year, but I can't include it on this report because it was last year. So I'm tracking all these numbers in different spreadsheets. Talking about the city identity, with the parades, I need to flesh out the social media data. I need to write a little bit more about it. But we have how many people we reach, how many people we see our images, our videos, our reels, all the things that we're promoting. There has been some requests from other merchants in our district regarding what we do in terms of marketing, and so I've included all of that. KSBW, Monterey County Weekly, the statistics from all of that, how many emails we send out during the holiday season, how many emails they sent out over the holiday season, things like that.
You talked about too with the tracking and engagement is kind of hard with
Yeah.
the other one, but with this one, how does that affect tracking engagement for Instagram and stuff like that with our data as well? Because we have that same issue here, don't we?
Yeah, so I mean, we can, Jenna provided these numbers to me, so she can see how many people, you know, have eyeballs on the data. And I know it looks, it's really hard to quantify eyeballs on you know, social media, because you can scroll by and that counts because it passed your screen. So, you know, take all this stuff with a grain of salt, and ultimately it's just the overall brand awareness that we're doing. But we are, you know, and I think I don't have it in here, but our followers have increased by like 10 or 12% over the past year. So there are growth metrics associated with this stuff, but I haven't fully fleshed that out because I haven't finished the total calculations. Same thing with Facebook. We've gained a whole bunch of followers, and it says growth in page following. It says 343, but we have several thousand followers. So I need to take that and see what the percentage is, and it's about 10 or 12% I think on Facebook. For KSBW, I included the video link to what we did, but I can't show it in a document, right? So I don't have it, but you can click on it if people see it in the digital format and they can see the video. But that was shown 22,000 times. And then the image that the advertisement that we used in Monterey County Weekly, I still say Coast. The Monterey County Weekly that was pushed on, printed on 75,000 copies of the visitor guide, and approximately 175,000 emails were sent out over a course of 6 weeks with 100,000 opens. So again, I don't know what that means in terms of actual numbers returning here because of our marketing efforts, but 100,000 people have potentially seen this advertisement coming to Salinas City Center for the holidays. And then our Main Street banners, discussing how many different banners we had up for the year last year. And also, and I haven't finished this part, the Streetscape declarations, where we talk about the progress or the progress on the murals, especially the one that's furthest along by Patria. And then, because that one is, I mean, we're in a home stretch of that one. We just, occasionally we get getting bounced back for dimensions and things like that. But talk about tree lights, alley activations, and I have pictures of that I want to include here. And that's basically it for the district identity part. Again, you guys have seen the survey that I've included last year, that I did in the summer of last year. I've taken a few shots or a few graphs here, and if they want to see the entire report, they can click on it right there. I added a little bit of parking, how many bodies are using that, and how busy it is. And again, you guys have seen these reports, if you want to click on the complete report. And I also put in a little blurb saying that Salinas City Center believes that the Monterey Street parking garage is underutilized. So, and the numbers here for turnover, if it's less than 100%, that means it's never full. So the average is never full. Going into the financial part of it, just math on what the combined assessments are, and the largest assessee, City of Salinas, followed by the county, followed by Taylor in various shapes and forms. Major expenses. So one of the complaints that we've heard or received is that why is Salinas spending $100,000 on our district, and what are we seeing in return? Well, this is what I'm trying to show, where here's your multiplier, here's your reason why you're spending $100,000, because just on landscaping, we spend approximately $100,000 a year. Same thing with security, we spend approximately $100,000 a year. And here is, I didn't start at the beginning of the year with this tracking, but halfway through the year I started tracking, and our security has had, 1,300 interactions with transients, transient population in the past year. So these are some pretty big numbers. And again, we're spending approximately $100,000 a year on security. I put in a little piece here where Salinas Police Department has cameras located throughout Main Street, but many businesses also deploy private cameras. Systems range from fully managed and monitored cameras, for example, located at 295 and United Way, and those are the cameras that will talk to you and say, hey man, you need to get out of here, to integrated systems like Taylor Farms, where they have one screen and you can probably see every property that you guys run. So, and then all the other stuff that we have, ring cameras, whatever other, online cameras that we use. And increasingly, these private systems are requested by the city. Salinas Police Department to solve crimes that the police cameras do not capture. Salinas City Center is also a vocal supporter of repairing and replacing the camera system. The Monterey Street garage that has been inoperable for over a year. Salinas City Center is committed to safety and an ardent support of policies that will ensure the well-being of our visitors. If that is verbiage that you guys are all okay with, or if you guys want to tweak things like that, I am all ears.
Go back, that camera is,
This is the new one.
that is in it.
That is the new one. That was $47,000 and change.
That didn't show.
Yeah, that didn't capture the data. So, and they took one of my ornamental tree posts away, and now I have 2 less banners I can hang. So, but yeah, that was. Oh, and they also came back and they had to redo the asphalt because it didn't pass the first test. So they took all the asphalt off and put it back in. So, again, we are a ardent
So that
supporter.
camera still is not working.
It should be. It's on.
It's on.
It's on. They just didn't capture anything. Yeah, it is connected with a piece of fiber from this post all the way down to Dick Grooms, or the 300 Main Street. So, which I thought was funny. The nearest place they could have hooked in was the traffic light at Dubbers. Yeah. So, yes, ma'am.
So nice to go through the report together.
Yeah, I asked this morning if I can put it on the screen, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
So, maintenance, this here is Kevin, and you recognize the building number?
Yeah.
So, this happened about 4 or 5 months ago, and, Kevin just takes care of it. I mean, we can submit our Salinas Connect app, and they usually hit it within 2 to 3 days. Or I text Kevin, and it's done within 2 to 3 hours. graffiti, and again, I didn't start at the beginning of the year, and I'm missing a little bit towards the end. I haven't punched it all in. But, you know, Kevin has just removed 450 pieces of graffiti in the data that we're showing here. You know, he's picked up a lot of things, and trash and whatnot. So, and compare that to the Salinas Connect app that I submit, and I just stopped submitting to the graffiti to the app because Kevin is just so much more efficient and faster. Yeah, and so this is all direct copies from my spreadsheets from data that I've been collecting over the year. Now, this is where we go into the stuff from Armida, where they have their accountant's compilation reports, straight copy and paste from the PDFs that are sent to me. Budgets, accounts, data. Nothing, unless you guys have a question, I'm literally scrolling through it.
Could we add more about the, I'd like to see more of the photos of the additional alleyway activations that
Yes.
we did in talking about that.
Yes.
And then it would be, I think it'd be amazing to talk about the polling we did for the mural on Petria
Yes.
and all of the engagement we had with the community and the voting for that one. I think that would be nice to share.
I ran out of time yesterday, but yes.
Okay.
Real quick, I'm running out of time here, I gotta run.
Yeah.
You still have a quorum in 7.
Yeah.
I'm wondering should we finish editing this? And then if this is due April 30th, have a meeting maybe the 25th in 2 weeks from today,
Special meeting?
special meeting to just approve this as edited. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, so I'd like to go through some of the other stuff and, you know.
And table the motion?
Yeah, exactly, table the motion until, you know, do a special meeting to actually then finish editing it, have all the board members opine on it, or mark it up, and then present one for approval in 2 weeks. is my recommendation.
I have a suggestion. Having worked with city councils in the course of my career, I would love to think they will digest, and they read and digest, they won't. A one-page executive summary, particularly on the financial. Here's what the city invests, and here is what we do that the city no longer has to do.
Hold on, Larry, but before you go into that tangent, he's got to leave, there's a motion to table.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Second, I'll second.
A second. Any other discussion?
Well, technically, we didn't do a motion for Arch agreement either, if we're going to do a motion for this to table it.
Do we need a motion, or just no action?
Just no action.
Or we just I just wanted to catch you before you left.
Yeah.
Take no action.
No action.
Okay.
Sorry, I gotta run.
Okay.
Hey, Rick. Then finally, the operating budget of what we're intending to do this year, and then the assessment data that I still have to plug in, I don't have that yet, and that's going to be for next year. So the way our financials were set up, just like we did last year, was this is the 23 that we had, this is what we're projecting for 24, and this is what's going to happen in 25. That's basically what we did last year. So that's what is going to be displayed here from assessment data. And then
So you'll have that tied into beginning December 1?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the way I have it written out here is, oh, I'm sorry, it's here. I thought it was still on the screen, apologies. I put in here fiscal year December 2023 and then to 24, but I can write that out to November 30th, December 1st if you want, whatever is more clear. I copied this from last year's budget, or the way I wrote it last year. So, let's see, here's the budget that you guys all voted on in November. This one here. And see, these are the goals and accomplishments you guys also voted on in November, with all the stuff that we discussed, put it in nice bulleted lists. So this is all verbatim from the stuff that you guys approved in November. And then There is I want to add a lot more media to this in terms of pictures and illustrations. So there's a visual pizzazz. There's a visual to the things that we have been doing.
So can I suggest that we sit down, and maybe there's a group of us, we sit down and go through this, and there's probably stuff that can be taken out?
Absolutely.
Because this is extremely long,
Very detailed.
and it's not gonna get 30 seconds, probably.
That was Larry's plan, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but.
Yeah, it's whatever you guys want to
Well,
do.
I think it can be as long as it wants to be.
But just have an executive summary.
If there's stuff that isn't necessary, remove it, but do the executive summary thing that just hits them right between the eyes. So here's what we do for this place, period. Big, bold,
See if we can get that into like 3 paragraphs.
Yeah, I can do that. Easy.
Yeah.
That actually sounds hard, I'm glad you think it's easy.
Well,
80 pages and.
Well,
a lot of stuff.
I just the main reason why this is so detailed and thick is I'm just sick and tired of people saying, why are we giving you $100,000? What are you doing with it? This is what we're doing with it. We are literally taking $100,000 that the city gives us, or no, the city has voted itself to assess itself to provide for us, and we're multiplying it by 5 or 6.
And it's only 90, it's not 100.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I just found out the PAL building, the city makes the PAL building pay for itself. So it's part of their rent agreement that whatever assessment they're getting for that, however big square footage is for that lot, they have to write a check to the city for the assessment.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So,
Think how many years they've been doing that?
well, I think it's a brand new lease agreement, but yes, yes. So the city is getting a sweet deal here.
Absolutely. Always. All right. So we taken care of all of the action items outside of Mr. Hammer, Mr. Hayes.
And Ms. Wise?
We're moving her to
Got it.
the beginning of the year from that standpoint. We'll all be dealt with that way.
Got it.
Okay. And we have land use.
But can I,
As discussed.
you want to just, I'll just do a motion, we've already had a healthy conversation.
Yes.
So, just a motion to approve action item C,
As discussed.
as discussed.
Okay.
I'll second.
And second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Didn't hear any no's.
No.
Didn't look for any no's. All right. Very good. And I think we're,
That's adjournment.
Did we want to double back to Jay?
Yeah.
yes.
Man, you
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, hi, Jay.
you stepped out of the room.
Yeah, I did. The good news is that this is only going to take about 25 minutes. So.
Seconds.
Are we without a quorum?
No.
We have a quorum?
We have a
Because I plan to actually wrap this up with a motion.
Go.
But
I need you.
we've been talking about the need, potential benefits of the parking district for a year or two. And the Land Use Committee finally solicited and received a proposal from EPS to do such a study. We're all in favor of launching it, and what I'm going to do is read you a motion I would suggest, and get a second to it, and if there's any questions or discussion, then we'll entertain them, otherwise we'll approve it and move on. Does that sound procedurally sound?
I think we can try to put on the
We
agenda.
have to add it to the
We have
agenda.
to put it on the agenda as an action item to do it. We could do it next month for sure. Or we talked
Put it
about.
up for the special meeting.
Yeah, special meeting the end of April.
Okay, well, for brevity's sake, I'll just forward this to everybody so everybody can look at it and be ready to go at the special meeting.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Do you want to read the intent, just so folks are aware?
The intent is that we approve that study, subject to receipt of grant to cover.
Got it. And you'll send us the proposal out.
Yeah.
And add that to the agenda for next time.
Special
The
meeting.
one special meeting, what is that date again?
Send us an email,
It
right?
will be 2 weeks from now, basically.
Send us a invitation.
Yes.
I think they're busy.
Right? Yeah. That's incidentally also the same day as our land use committee meeting, on the 25th. So, and that's,
Actually, that's good. I think.
but land use will have to be in person then. Because right now, because it's a committee, we're allowed to do Zoom, and that's what they've been doing. But now, if we're gonna make a special meeting for the board, it has to be in person.
Maybe we could do the land use, a special land use committee meeting the week before.
So shift it.
That's what I would suggest, Frank.
It's fine with me, Gene.
I'll send out an email and see what the uptake is.
Okay.
Make sure you got a quorum. So. We good? Excellent. Anything else?
Has anybody eaten at the Glass House yet?
It's
Oh, it's
still
open.
closed. What?
Oh,
At the
no,
what?
I was all, oh, it's open, and
I
we
know,
checked
that's
out.
what I was
open
waiting,
yet.
I didn't know if it was
I
open
didn't-
yet.
yeah.
Larry, you got everybody's hopes up.
Yeah, I know.
Are you buying?
Totally
We're
empty.
going to lunch?
If it's open, I'll buy it.
No, when it's open.
It's, that Laterat,
Okay,
200 block.
okay. New use going in there, huh? The new use going in there?
New restaurant.
Restaurant.
We don't know, I mean, we see it's
So our
posted,
next
but there's
regular
nothing
board
going on
meeting will be
inside.
Thursday, May 9th.
Talking about the glass house.
Yeah.
The facade looks good, clean up that.
Yeah, they did a nice job on the build.
Yeah, they did a really good job.
And
Yes.
So, next regular scheduled meeting is May 9th, but we're going to get a special meeting for April 25th
For the
for our annual report and the land use motion. And then, and that's all for,
2 items
yes, sir.
on the 25th.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Out of there by 10 minutes.
Yep, do.
Just sharing a voicemail with y'all.
Did Richard have public comment?
All right.
Richard, try next time.
So 11:48.
11:48.
That was a long meeting.
That was a long meeting, yeah.